Hi, welcome to another Fifth Life Adventures. We traveled to Old World, Wisconsin yesterday.
Time travel.
If you don't know what Old World, Wisconsin is, think of the 19th century and what life would be like in Wisconsin during that time. It was very cool. They had cities, like little cities and villages set up. I guess you'd call them settlements. And there was Scandinavian, Finnish, German, Norwegian, and then there was a crossroads, a village that kind of just took you to different locations. It was kind of like
It was time travel.
point. It was very cool. So it was all about what life was like when the immigrants came over and how hard it was and the things that they had to do during that time. It was very hands-on and a very awesome experience for our kids.
They enjoyed it.
And me, I haven't been there since I was little for school, so going back as an adult was quite the adventure. What else did we do while we were there? So the first place that we visited when we got there was the blacksmith.
It becomes malleable, as we call it. Easier to shape. Of course, depending on the level of heat. You can tell the level of heat by the color. This would be perfect. Lovely.
And gave some good tips in history about what it was like to be a blacksmith.
And how hard it was when the general stores started moving in, because apparently they started stealing all of his business from the factories that were bringing in things that were mass produced. And so it was really hard on the blacksmiths back then. We also saw a teacher.
Old school.
Very old school. We learned that they taught from 1st grade through 8th grade, that they had to travel up to sometimes 2 hours a day walking or taking like a sled or a sleigh to school.
Or skis.
Or skis.
Snowshoes.
Yeah, in the winter.
These small children had to get from point A to point B by themselves.
Yep, without parents.
School has a lot of rooms. One-room schoolhouses have one room because a lot of times it's the parents building it.
5 plus 5 is 10.
Okay, here. All right. So how can you do? Like, how about you? Can you add?
And then we saw a sheep shearer.
Yes.
Our girls got to practice on like wool that was already taken off, and they got to practice shearing with some sharp scissors. Those were very sharp scissors. And then we sat down, and the girls sat down, and they watched them actually shear a live sheep with the old-fashioned shears. But they actually are very gentle with the sheep, and they try to make sure they're at their most comfortable, because if they're not comfortable, that's when they're gonna cut and nick. And
Apparently they sing to the sheep beforehand to get used to the person and stuff, and the
Yeah.
guys even said that he's had sheep actually fall asleep while cutting their hair, so it's like a barbershop.
it's
really.
like therapeutic. They should give them paraffin treatments while they're getting their hair cut. But it was very fun. And then at times there was a sheep that would visit outside the corner of the barn stable. And he'd stick his head out and he'd kind of look around and he'd bleat like so loud. That was
What do you
his
do?
bleat. That's what sheep do. They bleat.
Can you please explain what bleed is?
Bah.
Underneath. You are going to cut her, so lay it right against the skin, and then cut. Yeah, very nice. Good job. All right. Sam, you want to put your hand on top? Okay, like this. Squeeze.
There you go. Can you squeeze it? There you go.
Yep, you want to lay it flat. Let's get it flat right here. Ready? Go. There you go. Nice job. All right. A minute here. I'll get to your stickers.
Ella, stay here.
There you go. Nice.
There's a pail. Okay.
All right.
But in Germany, we got to see some steer. We went inside. They had chickens and hens, and it looked like they had little plots set up for gardens, which
It was
was
like
really
old
cool.
McDonald's. We saw the steer,
Pigs.
giant pigs,
Sheep.
sheep. There was a cow that we didn't get to see. Oh, the
Yeah,
horses.
The horses were very temperamental. So if you go up
They
to
like
the,
to nip.
I mean, you go to this thing, you gotta remember all these animals are wild animals.
You're so baby.
Did he just throw that day at you?
So we had some tips for you if you were to ever visit Old World, Wisconsin.
4 tips.
We have 4 tips. First one, dress appropriately. You do walk a lot, so be sure you have comfortable shoes. I'd also make sure you're dressing, because when you're on the tram, and if you sit not in the first tram, but you sit in the back of the tram, you're going to get a lot of dust built up.
Well, even in the front of the tram, because it's totally open. So I mean, you're sitting on dust. Dust is flying in your face and everything. Our kids like kept their eyes shut.
Yeah.
And if you have any equipment and stuff, kind of hide it underneath your shirt or put it back in your bag or something when you're riding the tram.
I had sunglasses that helped a lot, so I'd bring a pair of sunglasses. Expect it to get dusty though, so you have to wash them off.
I'd bring a handkerchief or
Something to wrap around your face maybe, so you're not breathing in all the dust.
It's definitely old school.
Yep, so be prepared for a lot of dust when you're riding on the trams. I'd also plan to bring water bottles
Tip number 2.
and snacks.
Snack, you're there like you can spend the entire day there and probably not
Yep,
see everything.
expect to be there the whole day. They also have tokens that you can purchase at the museum when you go first to pay for your entrance. And we got 3 tokens. I got one for each girl. They're worth $5 each. You can go in and use them at the blacksmith where they're making the hooks.
or other things. And he just made hooks that
Well,
day.
yeah, he made hooks that day, but with little kids, we didn't feel it was appropriate to get hooks just because they were kind of sharp and kids. The other place was a soda shop place. They had soda water that they were selling for a token, where they gave you a commemorative cup that you got to take with you.
That was cool.
Then the last place was the general store. They had little knickknacks and things that you could buy at the general store.
But they would put the blacksmith out of business.
Yeah, so we didn't do that. So instead, we used our tokens at the museum, and they refunded us, but gave us $5 credit on everything that we bought in the gift shop, which was cool. It also gave our kids a lesson on responsibility and budgeting,
Yes.
which was cool.
So, clothing, food, tokens, bugs.
Bugs.
There's ticks.
There's ticks. You are in a forest. You're
Nature.
you're in nature, so there's gonna be bugs. So make sure you bring your sunscreen and you bring tick repellent or insect repellent. We were walking along the path, and Ella took off her tunic for her Girl Scout uniform.
Which I think was very lucky that she did that.
She said she was getting hot, so she took it off, and then Mike saw something crawling on the back of her shirt, and sure enough, it was a tick. So, be ready, be vigilant, so when you are all, even like every couple hours, maybe just stop and do a tick check. And then definitely at the end of the day, do a tick check and make sure,
A chick check.
tick check,
Tick check.
tick check, tick check, tick check. How much wood could a chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
How now, brown cow?
Raspberry Bay on Lake Superior. We're going on towards the Danish exhibit, then the Finnish area.